Today we are talking about ranged combat and whether or not it might actually be something to consider investing into in Rise of Kingdoms. If you guys are new here, this is Gainz Gaming. We make Rise of Kingdoms content, so make sure if you guys enjoyed this video, you subscribe for more. But I have seen a lot of reports from the 1960 and 1093 brawl going on in Kingsland, and honestly, there is quite a bit that we need to talk about. And what we need to talk about is ranged combat. With these new ranged combat commanders coming into the game, I think we might have to discuss whether or not ranged combat is something that should be done. Because, it's honestly insane, the reports that I've seen from some of these ranged combat commanders. And obviously, this is extremely new. People don't really know how ranged combat works. But one way I like to describe it as is with ranged combat, essentially, like if you think about when you are, chasing somebody down with cavalry, like say you have a Nevsky Joan and you're chasing down a Guan Scipio, right? And you're faster than the Guan Scipio and they're running away from you and you're catching up to them, you're getting active skill damage on them. Sure, they're using counterattack damage on you, but you're getting really good trades because they're not using active skills on you, but you are using active skills on them. That's basically how engineering commanders work. That is how ranged combat seems to work. And so that begs the question, are ranged combat commanders actually worth investing into? And honestly, with these two new commanders, I'm kind of thinking it might be something that people should be looking into, because like if you were to take this kind of skill damage and this kind of, skill on a regular commander, a melee commander that's actually, normally fighting, like this is dealing 2400 smite damage factor to 3 enemies in it's AoE. So 2400 damage factor in AoE is pretty insane when you think about it. And I have a couple reports from a 1960 member. And these reports, like, I want you guys to brace yourself because this is against 1093, right? So these reports are against 1093. And huge shout out to it's JGodJ in 1960 who shared these reports on Facebook. And so I did save them so I could share them in this video, but he is a member of 1960. And so we can take a look here. This is his gear on Gonzalo. And obviously, extremely good gear. Not many people are going to have this kind of gear because obviously not many people are investing into engineering commanders, nor are they investing into engineering equipment. And so this is obviously insanely strong equipment on his Gonzalo. And his Gonzalo is maxed, by the way. In these reports, Gonzalo is maxed. And Gaha, the new commander that is in the event that's going on right now, if I can show you guys the event, well, this commander right here, Gaha, basically the Rock, he has him at 5243. So in this event that we are, all trying desperately hard to finish up, he has him at 5243. So make sure you guys do finish this up because at least you'll get the pop when you get him unlocked for the extra bundle. And we'll get to the reports here in a minute. But first, let's check out Margaret and check out her gear. She also has really good gear. So Margaret has 4 of the epic piece set and 2 of the legendary piece set for engineering. Also has the pennant and the Horn of Fury. So really solid set. 4 special talents there as well. If you look at the different armaments and buffs that he has, really insane. 1.8% all damage, 9% health, defense, attack, all insane. And 4 different inscriptions. Not really sure what all these do, but obviously having an inscription is better than not having an inscription. And then Margaret's also very solid. No all damage, but 9% health, 7.2 defense, 7.5 attack. Also has some march speed, which is nice for siege, obviously. But let's get into the reports, because the reports are the juicy part here. So keep in mind, this is in Kingsland against 1093. And so that every single person that he's fighting against is max tech with the best commanders in the game. So you can see right here, this is Gonzalo and Gaha against Zhuge Liang and Herman as the first commander popping up, but obviously he is fighting multiple people here. But 1.6 million kill points to 400,000 kill points. 20,000 sev wounds to 108,000. Next one here, we have Margaret as the primary and Babur as the secondary, but 2.3 to 500,000, 26,000 sevs to 141,000 sevs. Next here, we have Margaret and Babur again, 40,000 sevs to 173,000 sevs. Just insane. Like the kill points here. If you saw these kind of kill points against 1093, you'd be like, holy crap. And honestly, I'd be very curious to see how his other marches are doing. I'd like to see if he's getting better kill points from his ranged combat than his field combat, because that would be just absurd. But 3.7 million to 800,000, 43 sevs to 218,000. This one was probably the worst one, and it's still not even that bad. Like if you traded this well against 1093, and keep in mind, he has better sev wounds here. So he's killing some T4 here, obviously, as well. But 83,000 sev wounds to 101,000. That's still a positive trade, even though the kill points are a little bit different. Next one here, still very, very solid. 56,000 to 237,000. 3.9 million kill points to 1.1. And here we have 37,000 sev wounds to 135,000 sev wounds and 36,000 dead. And, you know, the trade still very, very positive. So some people might wonder, is this only because of his insane gear? Is this because of the armaments that he's using? Or is it because the ranged combat is just insanely powerful and nobody realizes? That's something that I feel like we are going to figure out as we continue to get more ranged combat in the game and as they develop more into ranged combat, because, you know, obviously we are at the very, very beginning of this ranged combat system because it's brand new for everybody. And, you know, like everybody is foreign to the engineering. And the people that have invested into it so far are typically whales or new accounts. So we don't really have a huge picture on how good engineering combat really is, because I feel like the amount of data that we have is very, very limited. Because before like a week ago, we only had 2 engineering commanders. And I had seen really good reports from it, especially in ruins fights. Like, holy crap, there is one guy in my kingdom that was sharing reports of his Margaret Babur march. And, you know, he just sat in the ruins. Like, I guess I can kind of show you. I'll show you like on the temple, essentially, like pretend like this is the ruins, because, you know, it's kind of similar. So like he was just sitting right here, and 1365 was like coming down, like pushing into a murder ball. And he was just sitting right here, just just getting active skill damage. And like he'd share the report, it was like 6 million to 800,000. Like it was just, holy crap, how are you getting this good of a trade just by sitting there? And so, you know, obviously it depends on how you want to fight too. Some people, they might think like, oh, well, yeah, you get a good trade, but that's boring. I don't want to just sit there and let my march go pew, 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 and, you know, just collect the kill points. It's boring. So obviously, like that other guy I just shared the reports with, he was obviously still field fighting. He would just leave his march and then send his other ones going. And so I think that's the way to do it. I don't think you should go fully into engineering combat. And the main reason why is because like you don't really have any way to defend yourself if you have someone pushing towards you, versus if you have like 4 or 5 other marches on the field and you're like protecting your engineering commander and they're just firing off, and then you kind of push them away from your engineering commander and they can continue to push off skills. That's the way to do it. So if you are going to invest into engineering combat, I definitely think you should have at least 3 very solid pairs before you even consider doing that. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people would also recommend having like a buffing march before going into engineering. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of buffing marches. I don't think they're that great for anybody besides mega whales. I don't think they're needed besides for mega whales, because, you know, I will never use one because I'm not a whale. But when it comes to engineering, I think that anybody can use engineering combat. And I think anybody can trade really, really well because the sets aren't even that expensive. And they're pretty easy to get, getting the sets for the engineering combat. And so, you know, as you continue to get more of these pieces, you will be able to invest more into this ranged combat. Personally, like, I don't really foresee myself doing it unless like 2 more commanders come out and it's like, okay, I need to do it now. Then it's a different situation. But I'm curious what you guys think, because some of those reports were pretty outstanding. Like it's honestly crazy the amount of kill points you can get from ranged combat. And I'm not sure, they do still separate it. So, you know, I'm not sure what exactly you guys all think of it, but I'm curious to see what you think in the comments below. So make sure you guys leave your thoughts down there if you think that ranged combat is something that you would ever consider doing, or if it's something that you just think is dumb and you're never going to do it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Have a great rest of your day.